Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of the Alu Park Talk Show. We are certainly glad to have you on our channel. On today's episode, we talk culture. And when it comes to culture, I am always very excited when I have the opportunity to talk to people about their cultures, about their traditions, and about their way of life. On today's episode, we are talking to representatives from the BafutManjong Cultural Association in Calgary, represented by Auntie Loom, as she is popularly called, and Chambe. Again, a very good friend of the show. If you've watched the show before, lady, gentleman, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I think we're going to start with the Bafut anthem. It's
a tradition that you typically would start with that.
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Okay. Fokke kokumbango yisenanga bena. Ayaya. Mafongwa bisuo yisenanga bena.
Ayaya.
Kola banjingo. Logan fa mbo. Ayayo. Ayayo kisha akimine. Kola banji manche. Logan fa mbo. Ayayo kisha akimine. Ye kiala. Alima kiambane. Ye kiala. Alima kiambane mumangengwe chan kiambane de yonkia. Munke tu chan kiambane de yonkia. Olima kiala mumangwe kiane moke tonge. Alima kiala mum. Ye kiala. Alima kiambane. Ye kiala. Alima kiambane mumangengwe chan kiambane de yonkia. Munke tu chan kiambane de yonkia. Olima kiala mumangwe kiane moke tonge. Alima kiala mum. Choo! Mufumbane.
Very interesting. Thank you guys for that wonderful presentation of the Bafut.
Just out of curiosity, can you briefly summarize what that was? Just briefly.
Well,
you don't have to go into too much
just
details.
Says how the Bafut people live. Togetherness, always disagree to agree, and avoid squabbles, help your neighbor, love your neighbor as yourself. It's virtually it.
Oh,
Perfect.
thank you again.
Very good.
So, you guys are a representation of the culture of your association. Can you, in a few words, tell us what the BafutManjong of Calgary is?
Well, the BafutManjong of Calgary is a cultural group that's been around for 12 years. And we just decided, because it's a common phenomenon with the Bafut people. You find 3 Bafut people anywhere, they create that association because we always live together.
Yeah.
BafutManjong Manjong just means come together. Yes.
Interesting. So you guys, you have an event coming up next week. We're going to delve into that. Auntie Loom, can you describe the Bafut people? We have a lot of friends that are from that particular location in Cameroon. I went to school there personally. I really enjoy the people. In a few words, tell us who the Bafut people are.
In a nutshell, the Bafut man is a proud man. Proud yet generous. And when I say proud, you can use the word pride in different contexts, right? It's not the pride in the negative sense of it.
Exactly. Yeah.
We are proud of our culture. We are proud of who we are. Where you find 2 or 3 Bafut people, they will come together and they will speak to you highly about Bafut, because that's who Bafut is.
Right.
I mean, if you say Bafut anywhere in Cameroon, people would identify with it. Their food, their culture. We have a rich culture. So Bafut is just a group of proud people, proud about their culture, proud of who they are, proud of their origins, and they speak highly of it.
You guys have an interesting migration story from, I don't know where you guys are from. How did you guys come to settle?
I think I've heard you talk about it before. It gave me a lot of interest in that. Could you?
I'll give a brief summary.
yes.
Right. As we get older, we tend to forget some of these things, but we are the Bantus, right? And Bafut, like you all know, all of you, us, migrated from somewhere.
Yeah.
When we're coming, people are settling along the way. But the Bafut man, as proud as Until just said, we were looking for fertile soil. We didn't want to just settle anywhere. And anybody who knows agriculture knows that black soil grows good food. So all the places along the way with red soil, sandy soil, no, we boycotted. So when we found the black soil in Bafut, we settled there.
Wanted to kind of acknowledge the fact that you guys did your anthem in the language. It's difficult for people nowadays to even understand, talk less of speaking or talk less of composing an anthem like that. How are you as a people promoting your language, particularly in a society like this where kids, you know, they're intertribal marriages, they are interracial marriages? We have kids who have never been to Cameroon but are able to. How are you, you know, promoting as at least as a group, promoting your language here?
That's a very good question. And just like we started here, that's how we start every Bafut event. So we have our monthly sessions every last Saturday of the month, and we always kickstart by chanting the anthem. And if the kids are upstairs, we make sure they come down in the basement where we are, and we chant with them. And I can proudly tell you that all our kids can chant the anthem. They might not know what it means, some
But they're
do,
able to,
but they do chant it, and that's one of the proud reasons of being a Bafut man, because we want to pass that culture down to our kids. Yes.
Yeah, and thinking of an anthem too, you have to develop the alphabet in the Bafut language. You have to, you know, get, you know, how do you call the people who develop language, linguists and stuff like that, and then compose an anthem. It wasn't an easy job, I imagine.
It might be interesting to know that when the Bafut anthem was coined up, or even when we grew up, there was no alphabet in the Bafut language. So it's just something that you grow up speaking. You hear your parents speak it, you hear your neighbors speak it, and you just pick it up. You know, if I say Makijifayo, that means I was here yesterday. You just understand that it was like that.
Yes.
And that if you're going to be saying I will be coming tomorrow, Malojiyo, you just understand it means tomorrow.
Right.
There was no alphabet, there was no grammar. But right now it's taught in schools,
Exactly.
thanks to the linguists, like you said. So this anthem, when it was written, there was really no alphabet, but we grew up. We heard our parents chant it, we heard our forefathers chant it, and now we are chanting it. And as Tanchambi shared already, it's interesting what our kids can do. If they hear us chanting them band without them, you will see them start appearing. They know that something is about to happen. Why are you leaving us out? They come
down, right?
In our very first meeting after the COVID, we actually had to do the band twice because we chanted it forgetting about the kids. It was 2 years without them. So we came together and we were like, did we just chant the band? Where are the kids? We went back and started again, and they were happy. They took it away. So we were really excited. And you also inquired about our language, how we're keeping it alive. You might want to know also that in the month of June, July, and August last year, we had a guest teacher zoom in from Germany to teach our kids the language online. And if you go to our website, you would actually see some pictures of the screenshots of our kids really participating in.
You said someone from Germany?
I was talking about the language and how we endeavor to pass it on to our kids so it's not forgotten, right? So we had one of our sisters. When I say someone in the other episode, it's actually one of our sisters from Bafut who runs an online, it's like a news agency. Do you remember what that is called? Once in a while or quarterly, they'll come out with the news.
Interesting.
It's like a talk show, but actually she's bringing news and people report on the ground from Cameroon, from Bafut. And so she accepted that she would zoom in and talk to our kids and our wives who are not also from Cameroon. And it was great having her.
Nice.
We plan on continuing that, but for that time, that's what we could do, and we're trying to make it sustainable. We'll see.
Another interesting part of the culture is the Achu. There's no way you can delineate those two. Where there's Bafut, there's Achu. How important it is to have a traditional meal that's recognized internationally. Not just in Cameroon. Everywhere you go, you know there's a Bafut man. You definitely see Achu.
Well, I always joke and tell people if I wasn't born a Bafut guy, I would have been long dead because of Achu. It's a unique meal. And if you see achu anywhere and see Bafut people with rice and fufu, all that, you just know they go straight to where achu is, and then the other can come afterwards.
Right.
But so it's a rich meal, and the combination is difficult to make it. It takes time, don't get me wrong, but once it's done and well done, everybody appreciates it and they love it, because not only it has no fat, right? The combination of the soup, limestone concoction, which some people might think, okay, that's a chemical.
Food, right?
Yes, but if you look at traditionally, we don't actually use limestone anymore. We use banana peelings. We burn and turn it to acid, and if you don't do that, the soup doesn't respond well. So it's just a unique meal, and a lot of people are copying. I was shocked. I went to Garvey like 11 years ago, and I went to a restaurant. Achu was being served in Garvey. All the Bororos were fighting over it. I was so proud.
I don't know. Have you? Again, this would be for anyone. Have you ever thought about why, how villages or tribes pick a traditional meal that is unique? Is it because that is what was available, and or what is it about? I really haven't really thought about it.
People have their achu,
and why do Bangwa people have fufu and chi? It makes it, I don't know why. It just
something interesting to think about.
That's a good question. To the best of my knowledge, I would say some people don't like chewing food. Some people like soluble food. Because if it was what is available, I would say any tribe in the northwest or southwest can grow cocoyam, cassava and stuff. But I just think the Bafut man likes to just put it and swallow instead of chewing.
Oh, that's an interesting
and
topic.
it reminds me to, it's a personal story here. Like when I was growing up, my mom is a fan of getting up at 5 a.m. and, putting the big pot of cocoyam on the plantain. And then by 6 a.m. we are done making achu. And one day I'm like, oh mom, I don't know who brought this. It's so difficult to make. The Banso people just do fufu corn, and the Bali people just do fufu corn. And why did we have to go through such a process? It's a long process. And my mom said, that's what your parents want to eat. That's what So there's really no answer to that question.
I just thought it was an interesting thing to think about, right? It takes a lot of work to do it. It takes time.
Another good thing about achu that I've witnessed personally, it holds your stomach for a while. You can, and then Bafuma will eat achu for breakfast, lunch or dinner, and you eat it for breakfast. You can go on the whole day. You don't feel hungry, so it just stays there.
That's an antidote for alcohol.
Well, the sauce plays that part because of the limestone concoction and the palm wine and the soup.
If you're drinking or planning to put this in your system.
I was going to bring you in. So we all grew up in Cameroon, so it was kind of easy for us to learn the culture. We have children here. Some of them have never been back, probably will never be. How is it like? How are they receiving the language, the food that you guys are trying to? Is it welcome? Do they enjoy it?
Overall, I would say yes, they enjoy it. But in this where we live in this in this diaspora Western world, let's call it what it is, right? Every child is unique. Every child is unique, and we respect that. So some of them are very receptive of it. Some of them are kind of, they need more encouragement, and that is what we are doing for them. I can speak from my own point of view. I have two boys. They were all born in the diaspora. The first one adores the Bafut language. He understands everything. The second one has no interest in it whatsoever. And it's the same parents. And I think it's actually modeling from the parents, because my husband and I, we never speak. Thank God we are from the same village. Some people don't have that, like Tanchambi that I speak to here. He doesn't have that privilege of speaking the same language with the wife. But she is very interested in it as well. So it all depends on what you're modeling to the kids. What they see us do as adults in front of them, they will copy it. Kids learn very fast. They do. So we just present, and we tell them too. I remember we tell them that Bafut Manjong has to continue. If you guys are not learning, when we are gone, you guys will not be able to come sit and enjoy. So we encourage them and say, you make sure you're dancing the juju. Make sure you're eating the achu. Make sure you're chanting the man. So it's kind of a mix. Some of them majority of them welcome it. A few of them they are.
Do they like the food, or they say it's spicy?
Oh, they eat pepper. You wouldn't believe it. They love it. Yes.
Yeah.
Like my son has been fighting with me over pepper and bitter cola since he was 4.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and of course there are many different ways of kind of passing that tradition down, right? We've talked about food, we've talked about language. Another very important and very unique thing about people from the grass field, the Bafut people specifically, are the way that they present themselves in their outfits. Could we talk a little bit about what we are putting on? I know today we kind of decided to be a little bit traditional, but if you could explain your outfits, that would.
Well, what I have on now is called Ndani, which just means a smaller version of the bigger one, which is called Toko. If you see, most of our sessions, we have some that the arms are big, and every time you keep adjusting, if you want to pass through, you have to gather everything else. Glasses will be falling, and then Ngalum has what the white man would call a blouse. Which is, this goes with an ensemble, a loin, or you can match it just like she did. And it's all done by hand.
I know.
Yes. The only part the machine plays is to join it together, but when it comes to the threading and the matching, it's all needed by hand, and it takes weeks.
And it is expensive.
Months.
You're right. Yeah.
But still, just because people are proud of their culture and people would go a long way just to get it, because it took, I have one of those. It took us a while to put in an order, and because people are asking for, the demand is high, and it's not very common to find. It's not easy to make too.
That's very true. And as everything evolves, as time goes on, the designs change.
I know.
So, and the Bafut now being what they are, if you wear the same one for 5 years, they start calling it a Lolo. It means you're wearing the same thing every year. Now you're about to upgrade.
And there's one thing, can I just mention to you, I don't know if I'm allowed to do that, but if you look at the back of Chambi's traditional regalia, it's not like any other traditional regalia. You see this special circle right here? It is not on every Togo that you see that. So can you speak to that? Because I cannot really explain it, but
that's interesting.
Call it Bafut and the Bafut language, Netong.
Okay, which Netong in English means the navel.
The navel,
but because this is a traditional dress, it goes behind. And like Antilum says, to have a traditional dress in Bafut with Netong means you've served the people, you've done something that the village is happy, and you're recognized by having that. Normally we have a traditional dance every December that every Bafut man who can make it goes home. Is like our traditional Christmas. And if somebody who doesn't merit this Netong has it on the back,
they take it up.
They send women with the scissors while we are dancing. They're behind him cutting, and they cut it right in public.
Wow. I've never known that. Interesting to know.
And then also you will notice some of us have these hats with a red feather on. That's not something that's that anybody wears. You have to have done something, like if you help somebody or do a project in the village, or you rescued somebody, and then the fund sees, oh, this guy deserves a red feather. You are initiated into a next step traditionally.
And I know, again, your name the in Chambi is unique. You mentioned earlier that was a title. How did that come about?
Chambi in English just means the first. Chambi, I'm the first son to my parents. So my dad long passed on, and then my brother is the next of kin. So the first boy in Bafut is always Chambi, because you are like the helper to your dad.
Okay.
Chambi simply means the first boy, right? Yes.
And you know how we like our first boy back in the village.
So, what is the traditional structure of the Bafut the Bafut people? I'm going back to the village. So it's a fun, and is it similar to other people? Can you guys speak to that?
Well, first I would like to let you know the Bafut fandom has been around for a while, since 1516. Was the first Bafut palace created. We've gone through 11 funds. We are with the 11th now, for Abumbi the second. And the Bafut structure, you have the fund, who is the paramount, the ruler of the village. And then it's kind of we have sub quarters to be able to rule traditionally, and then you have first in commands, who is the fun. Then you have sub chiefs. We call them atangchos, right? And then you have quarter heads. So if something is not to be handled by the fund, we start at the level of the quarter heads. If he passes them, you go to the tangcho, which are the sub chiefs. And then if he's still above them, that's when you take it to the paramount chief. And Bafut is big, 425 square kilometers. So you can't just let all that to the fund. It's a lot of work to do. So it's wise enough to create these sub quarters so that they can rule each other.
So until you say the fund is a guardian of the culture and the tradition, like.
I would say that, you know, he holds the culture in his hands, not in a bad way. Still, I'm not saying that in a bad way, but he kind of guides the Bafut people, and I would say that all through the struggle that is back home right now, the Anglophone struggle, the fund of Bafut is one of the funds who has never left.
He stayed in his palace all
he's
through,
still there.
right?
He's loyal to his people, so to speak, right? He ordered words to us that we all watched internationally, and what he said is that which means I'm your fun and I will never do anything to hurt you guys. I will never let you down.
Under the bus.
I will never let you down. And he has kept to his word. So just like I told you that the Bafut person is a proud person, our fun is a very proud fun, and we take it from him. He has dignity. He knows he's a leader. He knows how to lead his people. And we are proud of who we are because our fund is proud of who we are.
We are blessed to have him also. Just to add to what Antilim says, he holds a degree in law. So that helps him manage.
Smart guy.
Yes.
And I think I know his son, Nixon. I don't know if he's a spokesperson of the palace, Abombi Nixon. Speak a little bit to the Bafut Palace. Just from what I've read and I've heard from people, there's a lot of history contained in that place.
The Bafut Palace, as you know and you can see on our website, it's a cultural heritage site. It's one of the last or the only palaces in Cameroon that still holds Cameroon history because it's listed as a heritage site. We have a museum there. You go there, war artifacts from World War I and II. You can find some of the guns in Bafut, and that's something to be proud of because some of these things have dissipated and no history is written, but we still have it in Bafut.
So if one were to visit, you have a lot of history to learn.
We do have 30,000 tourists that visit the Bafut Palace every year. We have 500 traditional dance groups that entertain these tourists when they come, because when they come and we take them around the palace, show the museum, we don't just let them go. At least we spice it up with the traditional dance. And the people are so cooperating that once the tourists don't announce when they come, right? But we have a big gong in the palace which we use as a telephone.
Communication, right?
It has tunes. If a palace building is burning and they play it, you can tell
what is happening.
If tourists are there, they want a traditional dance to perform, the guy who plays, and then you see the kids who are around just gather up and they perform a dance. The tourists will give them some money to appreciate. And that's just how we run the whole show.
Well, thank you.
77 villages in Bafut. Each time I talk about Bafut, I say village, you say, but Castro, that's not a village now. Because we are not more, we have 77 villages. We have
I come from Chum.
I'm from Manjong.
And my husband is from Jinta.
Jinta. I know Jinta. Agate.
There you go.
Once you're already having a mayor, commissioner, a police commissioner, gendarmerie, that's no more a village, right?
I know that you guys you've carried a few projects. You made a couple of donations. The things happening back home, back in the villages, and I know BafutManjongCalgary has played a part to support people. So I just wanted to have you talk a little bit about some of the projects and the activities that you are carrying back home.
We have first Bafut. I'm proud again to say we don't have snake water. The water people drink in Cameroon and pay bills every month. No, our water is portable, and it was done through village community projects. We dug our trenches, dug our tanks, connected a pipe-borne water. Every Bafut person is not, the entire village is not covered though, but I would say 70% has potable water. And then the others have natural streams from God that are even purer than all this water we treat with chemicals. So we make sure that all the chemicals needed to treat this water are given to the people. We've also helped, just prior to the war, we had a solar panel project. We intended to name the streets in Bafut and give them some light. We launched it. Unfortunately, the war came and destroyed everything. We even had a project to send ambulances. One of our Bafut doctors in Italy was pioneering that. It's not ended though. We're still waiting to see how things go, and then we'll relaunch that. Also, BafutManjongCalgary has given and still continues to give scholarships to some students back home. And we've also come up with some money to help the internally displaced due to the war. We're giving the palace a facelift because it's an old palace. You have to keep it up, and that's just who we are.
So I mean, just to piggyback on that, we also built, not building, but equipped a library in Bafut, and that was the initiative of BafutManjongCalgary. As I speak now, my heart bleeds because students are not able to visit that library anymore because of what is going on in Cameroon right now. But we did a huge job here of looking for books that do not only appeal to, to older people, books that appeal to the younger ones. We got books from Cameroon, and that library was equipped to a certain level, and we were so looking forward to sending computers and everything so that our kids can go sit there and study. Unfortunately, because of the war, it's now shut down, and well, I don't know how.
We're still going to do that, right?
We're still going to do that at one point, also, we haven't only executed projects back home. I would remember that here in Calgary, when we had the flood in Calgary, Bafut Manjong actually volunteered. We went over to High River as a group, and we helped some people clean out their houses, and that's something that was really that warmed our hearts. That we are not only taking from the community, we are also giving back to the community.
Interesting. So we have the party coming up next week, which is to celebrate everything Bafut. I understand it's a fundraising too attached to it. So can you guys speak to the party?
I'll let Angela
Well, it's I would not call it a party per se. I would say it's a cultural jamboree.
Okay.
Because as you know, we are very proud of our culture, and when 2 or 3 Bafut people are together, we want to showcase what we have in terms of culture. If we make money out of it, so be it. Great. So we don't want to call it a party per se. We want to call it a cultural jamboree, because the Bafut person likes to showcase his or her culture wherever we find ourselves. It's something that we did pre-COVID every year, and we were kind of alternating between Edmonton and Calgary, because I just want to mention, I'm going to be all over the place, but the information is going around, right? So we have 2 sister associations. There is Bafut Manjong Edmonton, and there's also one in Quebec. We have not been able to meet up with the Quebec people because, the demographics of Canada, really far away. But we are planning to do that at one point in time. Here there's one coming up in Yellowknife as well. Have they started?
Wow. Soon to start. They actually have their own traditional dance group already.
Okay, but they haven't started selling us Bafut Manjong yet, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we have been doing things with Bafut Manjong Edmonton, and before COVID, it was our turn to host it, and it didn't happen because of COVID. So we are happy to relaunch again. So it's a time to come, relax, see some of our cultural activities in play. To be specific, people like watching our juju dance, and that's going to be there. We're going to have a chu.
Of course.
So come ready to eat a chu. We're going to have just some cultural stuff, and some of them are going to be a surprise that I don't want to reveal here, right? Do you have anything to add there?
Well, if I can add anything, I'll say anybody who's in town should make sure they attend that, because there's lots to discover. Bafut people have a lot to offer, and if you think you've seen them all, you make a mistake. You have to show up that day.
Perfect.
I mean, we have a few things in mind. We are going to be raising funds, as you say. We are selling tickets, of course. So we if some money comes in, we do not only speak about the things that we have done highly. We know that there are certain things that have been learning opportunities for us. And one of the things that we have really been lagging on is finding a place where we can hold our meetings and sit in there comfortably.
Okay.
Our family has grown. The Bafut family has grown. When we started back in 2010, when we started back in 2010, I wasn't here in Calgary.
Yeah.
So it was somebody's deck.
Yeah.
Mubadang.
Mubadang offered her his deck and would crank up the barbecue, and we would have some. They would just gather as a family and have some food, and that's how it started on someone's deck, and then it moved into people's living rooms and basements. And now our family has grown.
Right.
I came here with one boy, now I have two. And every family has grown. So we are now needing a space to actually sit and do our deliberations comfortably with that, knowing that our kids are also safe in the space where they are, and we don't have that yet.
Okay.
So if anything comes out of this party, that would be our priority. To look for a hall where we can sit comfortably. That said, also we are thinking about our IDPs in Cameroon. We did cover some IDPs in Yaoundé. We covered IDPs in Boya. We covered IDPs in Limbe. But the list in Bamenda as well. But that list is not exhaustible. I was home in Cameroon in the month of March, and the number of people that I saw in Yaoundé, it broke my heart. How people are suffering. There's a lady that is hosting 17 people in her house from Bamenda. So if anything comes out of this, to be honest, we are not going to keep it as a Bafut family. We're going to make sure that some of our people down there at least are touched. So every little bit that you're contributing, I'm going to advertise it a little bit now. If you're buying a ticket, if you're able to pay for 2 tickets and come for one, we will appreciate it. If you're able to come and, we're going to do cutting of the cake, and our cake is going to be a goosey. If you are able to come cut the cake knowing that your money is going to go for a good cause. We are not going to take money and use it. We are thinking about our people who are suffering back in Cameroon.
Just on another note, I want to let you know, she's not just speaking as a Bafut person in Calgary. She's an emeritus. She was the president of BafutManjong 2 sessions, right? And
just a single session.
A single session.
But
due to the constitution and other family commitments, we would have loved to keep her forever.
She's so articulate. I love her.
She did a great job, and everybody was proud of what she did. And we'd love to have her back as a president.
Thank you,
we didn't talk about the venue and the time and all that. I hope we're going
July 2nd. July 2nd at 7:30. And when we say 7:30,
it's 7:30, that's for sure.
It is 7:30 for the Bafut people. So we pushed the time to 7:30 so that if we're starting at 7:30, you're not going to tell us we started early, right? So it will be at Winston Heights, Mount View Hall. The address is 520 27 Avenue in the Northeast. So that's your rendezvous.
Thank you.
July 2nd, July long weekend.
If
you're looking
weekend
for anything to do, you have somewhere to go and have fun and enjoy culture from the Bafut people.
Please make us your priority. We would love to have you.
Good.
The Bafut people also have a website. There's our culture and is so rich. The history of Bafut is so much that we can't sit here. If we want to tell you all, it will be more than 24 hours. So you feel free to go to www.BafutManjongCalgary.ca and you can see and read about the Bafut people. One very proud thing I like about the Bafut people, they have 5 animals at top of their list that we honor these animals because of their spiritual power. We have the python, the elephant, the buffalo, lion, and the leopard. Because of their spirituality, we believe that that's what incarnate the powers to our fun. So these animals in Bafut, we don't play with them. Which is why, if you look, we have a flag actually. Bafut has a flag just as our anthem. It's red, right, and black. And if you see all these designs on this clothing are related to those animals. You will see some of these clothes, you have the python design, you have the lion and all that.
Thank you so much.
One last word. I talk for a living, so I can talk. So when I came to Calgary, I joined the BafutManjong and I had mixed
feelings.
Mixed thoughts about how I was going to feel. Because I wasn't born that kind of person who is outgoing and all that. But thanks to my husband, I met my husband, and he's someone who likes culture and all that. He's really brought out the culture in me, and it's now out. So when I was in the UK for so many years, and I mean 5 years, I never went to Manjong. He went to Manjong with his friends by himself, and I never attended. Just for personal reasons and all that, I wanted to grow myself in the diaspora and to me not waste time, which is not time wasting anyway.
Yeah.
So when I came to Calgary and I went to Bafut Manjong, I just found myself comfortable. That is a place to be. And so I would highlight some of the things that make Bafut Manjong thrive here in Calgary, because I've heard of associations that have come up and crumbled just in a few months or years. And I want to highlight that when Bafut Manjong is thriving, it doesn't mean we don't have problems.
Right.
We fight a lot, and I mean fight. We go to our meetings, our deliberations get really heated. But the one thing that I like about the Bafut person is that as we exit the door from our meetings, the meeting ends there. When I see Tanchambi outside, what was discussed at the meeting does not affect
the
our
relationships,
relationship.
right?
And that's how we've been able to make progress with this association. So my advice to every family association is that you would always disagree. We were never born the same. 2 kids are born from the same mom, and they are
one like
different.
that, two, one doesn't.
It's the same way. You will disagree, but when we fight, let's not fight with our fists. We fight with our elbows, and that's why Bafut Manjong is standing today, 12 years and counting.
Nice.
Fighting with the elbows. That's pretty. That's
That's
a pretty smart way of putting it.
Well, we really enjoyed this episode. It was a cultural episode. As you can see, we're all dressed nicely in our traditional regalia. We thank you guys for coming. And if you guys are looking for in fact, Bafut has an interesting event on July 2nd. It will be a nice place to go and experience the culture of the Bafut people, experience their language, experience their food. Go there, support them. They have tickets. Please buy the ticket to support them, to support the projects that they are involved with. We're very happy to have you guys here, and we hope you have a successful party next week. This is the Idol Park Talk Show, and we were joined by
Auntie Loom
and
Chebifu Nchambi Ebenezer Castro.
Thank you guys very much.
Thank you very much.